What's going on, nation? T-Bloomanites, T-Bloomaholics, my T-Bloomers all around the world. Are you guys ready for the Week 10 episode of the T-Bloom Talk Show? Big motherfucking week. It's Week 10. We're officially in the double digits of the NFL season, and it feels like the season started a week ago. Like I do most of my podcasts, or the last few weeks of my podcast, I like to open this up by reminding you guys, let's soak this feeling in of being in the midst of an NFL season. And this is almost the most exciting part of the NFL season because we have so many games that have happened. We kind of know where all these teams' records are going. We have a good indication of kind of how the season's molding into what it is right now. Why it's so fun at this point of the season is because although we do have a good, indication of how the season's going to go, we still don't know exactly how it's going to go. We still have teams who are on the cusp of being in the playoffs, who are still fighting for a position in their division, who are still fighting for that playoff push. Now that there's 7 teams from each conference going to the playoffs, it makes it that much more interesting. There's still speculation of, hey, maybe this team can catch fire and zoom all the way to the playoffs. Maybe this team, they could fall off. Dallas Cowboys. They could fall off and maybe never even make the playoffs at all, even though they're sitting at a goddamn good record right now. We don't know. That's why I'm so excited I can't even get my words right. That's why it's so exciting right now at this point in the season. And as you know, you can see it right here. I'm a Steeler fan. But guess what? I'm maintaining high hopes. 2-6, we can turn that into 8-6 with a playoff push towards the end of the season. We don't know yet. That's the beauty of it. And T-Bloom, me, is going to give all you guys, my T-Bloomers, my T-Bloomanites, T-Bloom Nation, all the best takes, snakes, and jakes that you can get in the Week 10. Super excited. It's about 9 a.m. It's Friday. It's 11/11. Make-A-Wish, 2022. It's looking kind of gloomy out there. It was raining earlier, but I mean, what's new in Washington in a goddamn middle of November? Middle of November. What's fucking new? It's turkey season. I mean, I can already smell my mom's turkey baking in the oven right now with the mashed potatoes and the gravy and the kush and the kash and the bishka and the bashka. Exciting time. I'm excited. That's all I can say. Let's get underway. You know what's coming. All the games, Week 10 predictions, stats, news, and, whatever else is out there for you guys. I'm here to give it to you. T-Bloom, always here for a good Friday. Last night, Atlanta versus the Carolina Panthers. Carolina getting that dub. Baker Mayfield leading that team to a victory. And personally, I didn't see it coming. I thought Atlanta was the better team. I thought they were the better team. I thought Carolina was in tank mode. But not when Baker Mayfield's playing for you. The guy's going to go out and try his hardest no matter what, because he's not only playing for a good record, he's playing for his job. He's on the cusp of becoming a official backup in this league, and that's not Baker's style by any means. He's more of the kind of guy that wants to go out and lead a team to victory every Sunday, not sit on the bench and work in the back, so to speak. So kind of good to see him, getting the ball rolling. Atlanta moves to 4-6 on the year, and Carolina moves to 3-7. Still got a chance, especially in that division. I mean, that division is wide open. I think you got Tampa Bay in the lead. Or is it the Saints? Let's take a look. Because this is interesting, because Atlanta is one of those teams that came into this season, people gave them maybe 3 wins, maybe. They had them ranked as probably the worst team in the league. And they have a decent chance at winning their division and actually making the playoffs. So let's check this out. So yeah, Tampa Bay sits in the lead right now at 4-5. So last night going into the game, Atlanta was tied for first place, unless they already lost to the Bucs. I think they already lost to the Bucs. But they're still a game out of the playoffs. And how remarkable would that be for the goddamn Atlanta Falcons to come in and put it on the league and be like, look, dude, we're in the fucking playoffs. Brady ain't stopping shit. Jameis is a fucking backup. And I don't know what kind of shit show you got going on there in Carolina. You don't know who your starting quarterback is. We're going to make the playoffs. Now, obviously, they lost last night, so that put a halt on those dreams, right? But still very, very possible that Atlanta gets a playoff berth, and God damn it, I'm rooting for them. I mean, imagine that. Marcus Mariota coming in and knocking off a team as a 7th seed. I can see it happening. Because Atlanta, the one thing they can do, they can run. They can run the shit out of a ball. And plus, if they win their division, they're probably going to get at least one home game. And you don't want to see the Dirty Birds in the playoffs at home. I'll tell you that right now. Scary team with how they can run the ball. What a good day. Got my coffee going. So many games to talk about. Let's get to them. All right. We're going to start it off with the German game. That's right. The first ever regular season German game ever. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Seattle Seahawks. Now, I could sit here and bore you with stats and, they have this big of a completion rating or they put up this many yards per game, but we all know what this game comes down to, and it's the goddamn which team name sounds better in German. So I did some research. The Seahawks in German is Seefalken. I'll put a little shit right there, little lettering so you guys can read it. But this is my best German impression, and I'm actually I may be butchering this. I'm 50% German, at least 50% German. So my Oma, I call my grandparents on that side Oma and Opa. My Oma's from Germany, from the motherland. She's probably going to be disappointed with how I pronounce this, but it's Seefalken. And then the Buccaneers are Seeraube. Definitely fucking that up, but Seefalken or Seeraube? Which one's a better name? I'm going to go with the Seeraube. That sounds like a more intense name. So you got the Seefalken versus the Seeraube. And you got them going in a head-on collision course in Munich, Germany. It's not even a fucking German accent. In Munich, Germany. For the German championship of the world. I can't do a German accent to save my life. I don't know what the fuck that was. But let's get into a little bit of nitty gritty. Let's get into this team a little bit. You got on one hand the Seattle Seahawks on a bit of a win streak right now. Another team that no one gave them a chance at the beginning of the season. They're showing out, which is bullshit because fuck Seattle. You know how I roll. But they're rolling in. Hot streak. Who do they just got done beating? They just got done whooping up on the Arizona Cardinals. I believe, this is their 4th game in a row or their 3rd game in a row. One of the two. But they're going against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team who was just on a 3-game losing streak, who just got off that 3-game losing streak by beating the LA Rams in ultimate Tom Brady fashion, a 4th quarter comeback. What's new with that guy? But yeah, that's bad news for the Seahawks because that's a shark that smells blood. He got a fine taste of blood last week, coming back and delivering a fucking clutch win against the Los Angeles Rams. And anytime you got a shark in the water smelling blood, and you know how that story goes, Jaws. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. But anytime you got a shark in the water smelling blood and he sees a little Seahawk rolling through his ocean, you know what's going to happen. That shark's going to bite and he's going to kill that Seahawk. That's why we're rolling with the goddamn Seeraube this week, a.k.a. the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first ever regular season Germany game. And not to mention, one thing that Tom Brady has an edge on with the Seahawks more than any other Seahawk player that I know of. Tom Brady, guess what? He's part German. So you know he's going to want to go out there, put on for his motherland, and get this team back to 500 to sit at 5-5. We're going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady's back, bitches. All right. Next game, we got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Buffalo Bills. This one's interesting because you got Josh Allen, the MVP of the season, with the little right elbow sprain on his throwing arm. Now, I'm no doctor, obviously. You can tell by now. I'm not. Never have been, never will be. But anytime you got an injury to a throwing arm for a guy who can fucking gun it, it's not good, no matter what level Josh Allen can play at. I'll tell you what I'm doing if I'm the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to rest that injury. And here's why. The next 3 games they got this week the Vikings, which is it's going to be a tough game. I mean, even if Josh Allen is playing, that's a tough game. But you don't need to win this game by any means. So I'm going to rest him for the Vikings. And then the next 2 games, you got the Browns and the Lions. Now, the Browns and the Lions, that's not a game you necessarily need Josh Allen to even be in. I mean, you got to look at this team. The Buffalo Bills, statistically, are a lot more than Josh Allen. They got a good defense. Their defense can win them games without Josh Allen, especially against the Browns and the Lions. So I'm resting Josh Allen for the next 3 weeks, going to really shore up that injury, because when it comes down to the later stages of the season, if you just rush into that elbow injury and you let him play, and then obviously he's going to feel good, there's going to be some wear and tear in that. And it could come back to bite you towards the postseason. So I'm letting him rest, and I think you can win at least 2 out of these 3 games without Josh Allen. And let's just say you don't, but at least you know how good your team is without Josh Allen. You know how much of your team relies on Josh Allen, what your strengths, what your weaknesses are. You can really see exactly where this team lies and how much, like I said, Josh Allen is affecting this team's success. So it'd be a good chance to see what you got without him. Not to mention, you're probably going to win 2 out of these 3 games without him anyway, so it's not that much of a drop-off even if you do go 3 games without him. So my prediction for this game, if Josh Allen plays against the Vikings, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, because how can you not? If Josh Allen does not play, then I'm going to have to roll with the Minnesota Vikings. So a little bit of a circumstantial pick for this one, but I mean, when you're TBloom, you gotta have choices. If JA plays, the Buffalo Bills win. If JA don't play, Minnesota Vikings are going to take it all the way. In Minnesota, let's say Josh Allen does play, they have a chance to really solidify themselves as one of the premier teams in the league, sitting at 7-1. Still a lot of questions. They haven't played the best. You know, they're not by means playing absolutely out of their mind to sit at 7-1. They're doing enough to get to that record, and hey, that's half the battle. Do enough to get to the dance, baby. But this is going to be a test to see if, what the fuck the Minnesota Vikings are. And I'm pretty sure it's leaning towards Josh Allen says he's going to be ready for that game. Like I said, if I'm the Bills, I ain't playing him. But there's my pick. If J.A. plays, Buffalo. If he don't, Mini. Next game, quite possibly the biggest game of the week. I know tons of people are going to be tuning into this one all across the nation. You got the New Orleans Saints versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Kenny the Golden Child Pickett versus Andy the Red Rifle Dalton. You got the rookie, the Golden Child, slick back hair, tough as nails, SOB Kenny Pickett going against the wily veteran Andy Dalton. And Andy Dalton is no stranger to playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. You think back years ago, Andy Dalton was somewhat in the same position as Kenny Pickett, maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit different. Back when Andy Dalton was a rookie, when he was that young guy leading the Cincinnati Bengals to a pretty decent rookie season, I believe. Him and A.J. Green, they started off like, damn, these guys might be the next fucking best thing for the next 10 years. Looking like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? I mean, they were Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase before Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I mean, come on, dog. Goddamn Andy Red Rifle Dalton was slinging it back in the day. Looked like the future. And he was. Didn't turn out exactly how they expected, obviously, with A.J. Green having a lot of injuries and Andy Dalton being Andy Dalton, really showing his true colors. But yeah, he's going against Kenny the Golden Child Pickett, and it's quite possibly the best matchup in recent memory. I mean, I know everyone's going to be tuning in for this. I mean, how can you not? What's going to happen? Well, here's some history. Pittsburgh hasn't beaten the Saints in 3 straight matchups. The last time Pittsburgh has beaten the Saints was in 2006. That was Ben Roethlisberger's third year. So, I mean, hey, it's a long time coming for Ben Roth or no, for not for Ben Roethlisberger, for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get a goddamn W against the Saints. I'll tell you that, Mike Tomlin, you ain't beaten the Saints yet. It's time to put your foot down and fucking make it happen. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen because Mike T, he's 11-4 after bye weeks. So stats show he's going to win this game. I think this is going to be a coming out party for Kenny Pickett in terms of he's going to come out, really put on a good performance, and lead this team to a W. I mean, they're playing in Pittsburgh, grass field. It's November. Conditions are not going to be prime for an offensive, Conditions aren't going to be prime like they are in New Orleans in that goddamn dome that's set to a specific amount of degrees that's optimal for performance. That ain't how it's going to be in Pittsburgh. You're going to see an old school slosh fest potentially, KP style. This is going to be the start of a playoff push for Pittsburgh. We're rolling with Pittsburgh heavy this week. I got two good friends who are actually Saints fans, so it's going to be fun to talk shit to them and to really let them know who the future is. Cheers for my coffee drinkers. We're rolling with Pittsburgh. Next game, Houston Texans versus New York Giants. Now, let's do a little bit of history lesson this week, or today on Friday. The Texans haven't beat the Giants since 2002. That was before Eli Manning was even playing. Before Eli Manning even touched a NFL football was the last time the Texans beat the Giants, which was actually, their opening year, 2002. It's either 2002 or 2001. I believe it was 2002. But the Texans ain't won against the Giants since, and that's 4 straight losses to the Giants. So you got to think that they have some sort of, wrath build up to beat these Giants. And last week, Giants snapped a 4-game losing streak with a Seattle loss. They lost to Seattle. Well, did they just come off a bye? I believe New York just came off a bye. Or did they play Seattle? Regardless, they were just on a big winning streak, and then they just lost it. They're sitting at 6-2. Still a very good team. They can run the ball. Daniel Jones is playing a lot better than he has in recent years. Kind of reviving his career, making it hard for the Giants to go for a quarterback anytime soon. I'll tell you that if he keeps up this gameplay. Nonetheless, this game isn't really coming down to, these teams aren't fighting for records right now or playoff position or hey, let's tank because we want the number 1 overall pick in 2023. No. You know exactly what this game's about. Red, white, and blue bowl. The goddamn red, white, and blue bowl. We see it every 4 years. Which team is the better team with the colors red, white, and blue? That's what they're playing for. And if you think anything else outside of that, sorry, you're wrong. These teams are going to play, put it all on the line to see which goddamn team wears the red, white, and blue colors better. Recently, and since 2002, it's been the goddamn New York Giants, but you better believe the Texans are going to play their ass off to reclaim that Super Bowl, or not that Super Bowl, to reclaim the red, white, and blue bowl that they won in 2002. Will they do it? Absolutely not. The Giants will roll with this one. Why? Just because the Texans suck, right? I mean, the only thing they have is Dameon Pierce. That's the only reason why I would ever watch a Texans game is because of Dameon Pierce. New York Giants, they should take this one. Don't be surprised if they don't, though. The Giants love to lose to teams that are garbage. They might be the worst 6-2 team ever. I'm sorry, True. Hey, I'm sorry. Fucking sue me. I mean, if you want to debate that, come on the show and we'll debate it. I don't mind anything. I'm not hiding from anybody. They might be the worst 6-2 team ever. There, I said it. I want to take a look at some 6-2 teams over the years because they actually have a good shot at being the worst 6-2 team ever. Nonetheless, we're going to take the Giants over the Texans. But the red, white, and blue bowl. Red, white, and blue bowl. You better you better look. You better fucking watch the game. Watch the game. Red, white, and blue bowl. It happens 4 times a year. Be there or be squaw. Next game, Cleveland Browns versus the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins, assuming Josh Allen doesn't play and they take my advice and he takes 3 weeks off, the Dolphins have a good, solid chance to really take control, excuse me, to really take control of this AFC East team. You look at their next 3 games. Right now, they play the Cleveland Browns. Very winnable. They should win it. In fact, they're 3.5-point favorites. Then they got the Texans. We know how trash they are. Then they got the 49ers. There's 3 very winnable games. Very, very winnable games. I know the Niners, they got CMC now. Debo's back and healthy. But those are winnable games, for sure. So, and if you look at the AFC East standings, you got the Dolphins right next to the... You got the Dolphins right next to the Patriots, right next to the Jets. You got to think the Jets are going to drop off somehow. I mean, I know they're playing really good football, but that offense just can't seem to throw the ball very well. They can run the shit out of it, but Zach Wilson, I don't know, he makes a lot of errors that I think are going to catch up to him sooner or later. One thing that I think is the best part about the Jets is the coaching, ultimately. But you look at Miami, 6-3. They don't have a tiebreaker with the Jets, but the Jets will lose a few games. Buffalo, 6-2. You got to think that they're going to lose one of those games, right? One of those games without Josh Allen, if Josh Allen goes out. But nonetheless, they have a good chance at reclaiming this AFC East and putting them in a position where they control their own destiny late in the season. Will they do it? I don't know, because you take a look at their last 3 games. Chicago, they won by 3. I know Chicago, Justin Fields was going off that game, but you need to beat Chicago by more than 3 points to be considered, they should beat Chicago by more than 3 points. I just think that, that's pretty reasonable to expect from a team who's considered one of the elite teams in the league. And you look at the other game before that, they barely beat Detroit by 4. And the game before that, they barely beat Pittsburgh by 6. And Pittsburgh was on a game-winning drive to seal that up until Kenny Pickett threw a pick. Doesn't matter, though. We don't talk about the past with Pittsburgh. We talk about the future, Kenny Pickett. But what I'm saying is the Dolphins, the last 3 games, they've shown that they can be beat with a play or 2. 1 play or 2 plays that doesn't go their way, they're losing those games. So, I don't know if they're actually going to be able to, go on this AFC East run that I presented to you at the beginning of this. But, no, I don't think they will. Because the Browns are a team that are kind of built to beat Miami. They can run the ball. They can control that clock and keep the ball out of Miami's hands. And if you can do that, keep the ball out of Tua's hands, all while running out the clock and maintaining, field position and stuff like that, that's the perfect recipe to beat the Miami Dolphins. Keep the ball away from the offense, run the ball down their throat. So for those reasons, I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to win this one. Miami moved to 6-4. And not to mention, Cleveland's still fighting for a spot in the AFC North. Let's not get that confused. They're only 2 games out. They hold a tiebreaker over Cincinnati. They hold a tiebreaker over Pittsburgh. They haven't played Baltimore yet. You got to think they can easily beat Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore's a team that runs the ball. Cleveland's a team that runs the ball. Who can run it better? Who knows? But Cleveland's still fighting for a playoff spot. They're just still fighting for one. So this team's going to be motivated. They're going to come in, and I think they're going to shock the nation by beating the Miami Dolphins. That's my pick. We'll head over now to Kansas City, where the Chiefs will be taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's take a look at some history after I sip this. No, this isn't alcohol, it's coffee. If you think differently, then I'll let you think that. Jacksonville has lost their last 5 to the Chiefs. The last time the Jaguars beat the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes was 14. That was in 2009. So, in so facto, Patty ain't never lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right? Jacksonville, they are 2 games out of the division lead, so they're still fighting for a playoff spot. That AFC South division is wide open. You got the Tennessee Titans leading it at 5-3, but I don't know, man. Tennessee didn't. I mean, I know they almost beat the Chiefs. They play the Chiefs really well. They consistently have play the Chiefs really well. Chiefs have struggled against Tennessee over the years, so that's not too it's not too crazy to think that they did struggle a little bit. But I just don't see any upside to this team. I mean, the defense is good. Yeah, they have a really good run defense. But they don't have the best pass defense, and their offense looks very, very bad. Doesn't look good at all with Malik Willis at the helm. They don't really have very many playmakers outside of Derrick Henry, who, you know, if you stop him, what else you got? You got Ryan Tannehill throwing to God knows who on the outside. It's just not a team they're not as well-rounded as they have been in years past. This AFC South division is wide open. That's why Jacksonville is still going to fight hard. Not to mention they haven't beat the Chiefs since 2009. So they got all the motivation in the world. They're going to go out and play their goddamn heart out. And yeah, will it be enough? Absolutely not. The Chiefs will roll with this one. The Chiefs, again, kind of like Miami, they have a chance to really take control of the AFC with Josh Allen being on that injury. They sit at 6-2, tied with Buffalo. And, yeah, you got to think the Chiefs are really excited to get that number one spot, reclaim the title of best AFC team. And, yeah, so the Jacksonville Jaguars will not have enough. Why? Because one has Patrick Mahomes and the other team has Trevor Lawrence. Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence. You see the difference? You see the height? You see the height difference in that? Take a look at that. That's a gap right there. That's a huge gap. Patrick Mahomes right here, Trevor Lawrence right here, and that's all that needs to be said. Kansas City's going to roll with this one. 7-2, here we come, Kansas City. Next game, the Denver Broncos versus the Tennessee Titans. Man, this is going to be a game of who can have the more boring offense. The Denver Broncos or the Tennessee Titans. Malik Willis doesn't look like shit. Sorry. I don't know if they're not letting him throw the ball down the field or not, but he doesn't really have weapons either. This is rookie year. He's kind of in a bad situation. Not sure what he is yet, but he's not anything right now. Not good enough to make that offense very much right now. I would smash the under in this game. I know the under is really low. It's 37.5 points, but both these teams just struggle to put up points. And they both have good defenses. Denver has a really nasty defense, especially their secondary. And Tennessee, they got a really good run D. So, and I know Denver just came off that win against the Jacksonville Jaguars where they had to come down and win the game and yada, yada, yada. Russ is back. I think he's a little bit back. I think that offense is getting a little bit better week by week. Hopefully they'll put it together soon for you Denver Bronco fans because they got too much talent on that side of the ball to not at least be able to put up 20 points a game at least. And if they can do that with this defense, they're going to be a scary team. So I'm going to roll with the Denver Broncos for two reasons. One, Russ looks like he's a little bit back. And two, they got a great defense. I just can't trust the Titans. They're trying to hold off this AFC South title, but I just can't trust them right now. I'm sorry. So we'll roll with the Denver Broncos to upset the Tennessee Titans. Wow. Tennessee's a -3 favorite. Interesting. Maybe I'll take that this week. That's a good bet. Denver, money line, plus 125 odds. I might do that. Next game, Detroit versus the Chicago Bears. Now, I could sit here and we could go over stats and how the Chicago Bears got the number one rushing offense in the league. And over the last 3 games, they've been averaging 245 rushing yards. Or, hey, Detroit Lions, 8th best passing team in the league in terms of passing yards per game. And I could bore you with these statistics and these these numbers. But we all know what this game's coming down to. What matters most? The age-old question. Who would win in a fight? A bear or a goddamn lion? Let's go to Google. Let's go to fucking Google. Let's see. Let's see if I can get you guys on here. Let's add another video. I got a video capture right there. Let's add another video or window capture. Maybe I can do a window capture. No. Is that not a thing? OBS. See, I'm trying to do something new for you guys. I'm trying to get you guys to see my screen, my lifestyle a little bit. What do you say? Google Chrome. There we go. All right. The age-old question. A bear versus a motherfucking lion. Okay. All right. Now let's go like this. Oh, that's money, baby. Yeah, baby. That's money right there. Who would win in a fight? A bear or a gorilla? You know what's weird? Why isn't there ever been a team to name themselves the Gorillas? That's pretty intimidating. Or a lion right there. All right, here we go. A bear would win in a fight against a lion. Bears have the advantage in just about every aspect, from size to offensive capabilities. The only time that a lion would win is if it managed to sneak up and ambush that bear, leaping onto it and biting it in its head with such power that it shatters the skull. Okay, interesting. Let's bring it back. Whoa, why is the screen not full now? I guess it is. That's weird. That's weird. Anyway, okay. So we answered that question. Turns out a bear would fuck a lion up unless a lion were to sneak up on to said bear, pounce on its neck, crush its skull, and then it's done. So let's think about this for a second. You got the bears versus the lions. Only chance the lions got is that they sneak up on the bears. I don't know if this Lions team is necessarily capable of sneaking up on anybody for the fact that they're the most inconsistent lion in the fucking jungle. I mean, these guys either lose a game by 4 or lose a game by 27. There's no in between. They just came off a big win against the Packers, which was very sneaky. They shown a sneaky side to them last week by beating the Packers. And this Bears team, I mean, this bear can run. Let's not get that. This bear's fast as shit. This bear can run like a fucking wind. But could it beat this lion? I'm going to go no. I'm going to stick to my gut. A bear would fuck up a lion in the fucking jungle or whatever, wherever they would meet. And I'm going to roll with that. Bear would beat a lion. We're rolling with the Bears this week. The best running team in the league, they're going to fuck these Lions up. It's in Chicago, too. So there ain't no goddamn stadium or turf field that's going to save this Detroit Lion team. All right, next game. Indianapolis Colts versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Wow. Jeff Saturday, welcome to it, buddy. And I know there's been so much backlash on that hire. He's not qualified. There's more people they're more qualified than him. Okay, let me tell you this. What qualifies someone for a head coach? Is it being a coach? Sure. You got to be a coach at one point. Jeff Saturday was a high school coach. Already been a coach. Was he successful? No. Does that matter? Fuck no. There's been plenty of coaches that have not been successful in the NFL that have then got hired again as NFL coaches. So I don't want to hear that as being an excuse. What about the fact that this guy's played for 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, won a Super Bowl, and was the center on an offense? For those of you who don't know how it works, the center is the leader of the linemen. He's got to know where every lineman goes, what everybody's doing. He's got to call out certain protections at the line. Not to mention, he's one-handed at the very first snap of the ball. One-handed, he snaps it. He's got to do that all within getting his hands up to block that fucking D tackle coming right at him. Excuse me. So he's played with a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's won a Super Bowl. He's made many play calls with guys like Peyton Manning. So I don't see like what the pushback is on this. This guy's experienced in the NFL. I mean, maybe not in the coaching aspect, but he understands how to call plays, how the game works at the highest of level, and he's played with guys that are arguably the best ever to do it at their position in Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning. He's seen how they've done it. You don't think he's picked up a few things since then? And I'm sorry, there's this talk about Oh, he's not qualified. Maybe the motherfuckers are too qualified to become head coaches. How is Matt Canada an offensive coordinator in the NFL? Sorry to shit on the Steelers a little bit. I'm a Steeler fan, but us Steeler fans know Matt Canada, he wouldn't even become a college coach if he were to get fired today. There's not a fucking college in the nation or an NFL team in the league that is waiting for Matt Canada to get fired so they can pick him up on his team. Or guys like... You got guys all the way across the league that are not qualified or are technically qualified to become these coaches or these offensive coordinators that don't do shit in the NFL. Maybe there's this too much qualified ability in the league that's making teams suck. I mean, when's the last NFL coach? What's the last team that has fired their coach mid-season, then hired someone within their organization, which is what everyone's problem is. They didn't hire someone within the organization. It's worked out to where that coach that came in mid-season was then their coach next season. I can't think of one. Maybe I'm shooting blanks here and I'm not thinking. Maybe I'm just stupid. But I can't think of one coach that has done that ever. Maybe I'm wrong. But, I mean, what do you have to lose here with hiring Jeff Saturday? People say, oh, you just hired his friend. It's not like he hired his friend that works at McDonald's up the street. He's hiring a guy who's been there, done that, went back, and did it again. So I don't know why all this pushback is for Jeff Saturday. And if you guys heard his press conference that he had, he'll tell you all this, dude. He's not the most qualified. Who cares? He knows what he's doing in the NFL. In the NFL, he knows what he's doing. So, with that being said, the league needs less qualifiability. Bring in the motherfucker who ain't got nothing to lose, like Jim Irsay said, who doesn't have Band-Aids from making decisions 2 years ago in games, and who's just going to call plays the way they should be calling how he sees it. What do the Colts have to lose here? Their season's already in the dumps. They don't look like they're going to be making the playoffs. They have a decent chance at actually winning the division, so why not bring him in? What the fuck? What? So that's why I'm going to be going for the Indianapolis Colts this week, because I want Jeff Saturday to win, and I want him to prove all you motherfuckers wrong who think you know what you're talking about. And not to mention, the Las Vegas Raiders, I took them last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They didn't do me shit. Las Vegas is doomed. And it's the Saturday motivation, baby. We're taking the Indianapolis Colts by a fucking mile. Maybe I'm going to be eating my words next week, and I'll be the first man to admit it. But God damn it, we're going with the Indianapolis Colts. Jeff Saturday, here we go. Next game, Arizona versus the Los Angeles Rams. No hope for any of these teams. Los Angeles, I don't know how they choked that game against Tampa Bay. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals, who every fucking week they seem like Kyler Murray's just God, Kyler Murray is just sunning the head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, Cliff just seems like he's got to bow down to him, which is not a good position to be in as a head coach. None of your players are going to respect you. DeAndre Hopkins was upset with Kyler Murray last week. They just seem in shambles. They seem like they don't want to play with each other. They're sitting at 3-6. I mean, you could say this NFC West division is wide open, and it is, but not for the Arizona Cardinals. It's wide open for the Seahawks or the Niners. The Rams, man, I don't know. Their offensive line has been in questions all season. It's hard for me to pick any of this team. So, we're going to go, who would win, a Cardinal or a Ram in a fight? Now, I thought about this really, really hard. If you think about it, a Cardinal and a Ram, they would never fight. They would never come to draw. They would never come to, a Cardinal would never come down, swoop down, say, I got to beat this Ram to save my family's life. Because it would just fly up. If it really wanted to get away from a Ram, it'd fly up. So that means it comes down to a waiting game. Which animal can outlast the other? What does that mean? Which animal has the biggest lifespan? Let's take a look. We're going to go back to it. Window capture. All right. Cardinal life expectancy. 3 to 5 years. So we'll say 5 years. Okay. And how long would a Ram? Ram life expectancy. 8 to 12 years. So it looks like the Ram would win. And I have no problem going with the Los Angeles Rams on this one. Why not? I mean, it's not like the Cardinals are showing me anything the Rams aren't. I mean, I guess the Cardinals have a little bit better of an offense in terms. I don't know if you guys can hear my stomach growling, but I'm hungry. I'm starving. I'm starving like Marvin. It's 9:39 a.m. Damn, it's 9:39 a.m. We've been going for a while. Good. I like a long podcast talk show. So we're going to go with the Los Angeles Rams because a Cardinal could not outlast a Ram if it came down to it. And that's the only reason why I'm picking the Los Angeles Rams. I'll go ahead and circle that one. LA, baby. All right, next game, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers. Mike McCarthy's first game back as the Dallas Cowboys head coach going into Lambeau. I wonder how he's going to be received. Are they going to boo him? Can they boo him? Will they even care? Does anybody even know that this is his first game back in Lambeau, or at least going against the Packers since he's been in Dallas? Who knows? I know I'm not going to boo him necessarily, but I'm not going to applaud him if I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. I wonder what Aaron Rodgers thinks. Do you think they give a shake and a hug? What's the over-under on a shake and a hug for Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy when they meet midfield? Will they meet midfield? Were they even friends? I bet you Aaron Rodgers might go up to him just to show a little bit of a cold shoulder to LaFleur over there in Green Bay. That's going to be interesting. I wonder if you can bet on that in Vegas. Who am I going to go with? Well, Aaron Rodgers is pissed. There's no doubt. He's on a 4-game fucking losing streak. He just lost to the Detroit Lions, where he should have easily handled that team. He had 2 fucking goal line possessions end up in interceptions. One, or maybe both of them were his fault. One hit off a helmet. Okay, Aaron, sue me. Then the next one, they did a tackle eligible to David Bakatari, who, by the way, was hurt, who's been hurt, who keeps playing and then not playing and then playing and then not playing. Not sure what's going on there. But a tackle eligible where he threw the ball about 5 yards short right into Aiden Hutchinson's hands. So, yeah, they should have won that game. Aaron Rodgers is pissed, by the way. I listen to Pat McAfee every Tuesday for Aaron Rodgers, seeing how he's doing. He seems like his head is still there. He's saying all the right things. It doesn't seem like he's given up. It seems like teammates around him might have given up, and he might have a little bit of a controversy on that. But, man, I don't know. It's hard to see Aaron Rodgers losing 5 times in a row. And Aaron Rodgers definitely pissed. But is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I'm going to take it as it's going to be a bad thing. Bad thing for the Dallas Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers is going to come in. He's going to start firing the ball. I don't know who he's going to throw to, but something's going to happen to where they win. It's a revenge game for someone, either Aaron Rodgers or Mike McCarthy. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers. We're going to roll with the Green Bay Packers because A-Rod's back is against the wall. And anytime you put his back against the wall, what does he do? He pushes back with as much force as he can. Green Bay. Next game, the Los Angeles Chargers versus the San Francisco 49ers. Now, at first on paper you think, okay, San Fran coming off a bye week. They got CMC healthy and they got Deebo Samuel healthy for the first time since Christian McCaffrey has come over. But what you didn't know is Kyle Shanahan is 1-4 after the bye. That's a losing record, and I got to go with the trends. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Chargers, and it's not only because of Kyle Shanahan's record after the bye, but it's also because the Chargers love to win games they should lose and love to lose games they should win, and I'm going to continue with that trend too. They play better when they're dogs, even though Keenan Allen's probably not going to play, and Mike Williams, I'm pretty sure he's out for this game. I'm going to go with Los Angeles. They got no business winning this one. No business. And the Niners got no business losing this one. That's exactly why the Niners will lose and the Chargers will win. So we're going to roll with that. Last game of the week, Monday Night Football. And the schedule makers, man, they love AFC East teams to be primetime, man. Washington Commanders versus the Philly Eagles. I'm going to tell you right now, Eagles going to win this game. Why? They're dogs. Not underdogs, but they some dogs over there, man. I mean, pains me to say it, but they might be the best team in football right now. if you think about a complete package, if you think about defense, offense, running, passing, passing defense, running defense, this team's just playing the best, man. And I'm not willing to. It sucks for me to admit it because I'm an AFC guy. I think we got the best two. I think we got the two teams that are probably going to win the Super Bowl in the AFC, either the Bills or the Chiefs. I don't know how long Philly's going to hold on to this. It seems like it's one of those years they're going to start off really good, and then teams they're going to figure them out, and then it's going to be a spiral down. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I know Charlie's over there. What's up, Charles? Hoping I am wrong and hoping they take this bitch 17-0 all the way to the Super Bowl and win it. Do what the Patriots couldn't do back in 2007. Not much to talk about in this one. Goddamn Philadelphia Eagles. But don't be surprised if that dude, Taylor Heineke, Taylor Heineken comes out, puts some pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles, and really fucking cements himself as the goddamn best Washington Commander quarterback to ever fucking play the game. And there hasn't been a lot of Washington Commanders to play the game. There's been fucking two. You got Carson Wentz and you got Taylor Heineken. Taylor, let's fucking take a shot of Heineken and go out and sling the ball. That's what it seems like he does. That's almost what he does. Looks like he goes out there, chugs a Heineken, takes it back with a shot of whiskey, says, fuck it, let's go play some ball. And sometimes that's what you need. Not going to be enough to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in primetime Monday night. But look for it to be a little bit of a closer game than an 11-point spread like the Vegas oddmakers have it going. So, is there anything else? No, that's all for the games. What else do we have? Oh, Joneson for Jones. Coming up next, right now, he's got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk some college football. Anytime Jones is in town on the TBloom Talk Show, we got to talk some college football. I mean, he's my go-to college football guy. The guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to college football. And I know I can't deliver much in that because that's not my expertise, baby. I'm a professional. I look at the professionals. You got a college kid in Jones for Jones. He knows everything about it. So stay tuned. He's coming up right now. Remember, if you haven't followed me already on Twitter, you can find me at TBloom Talk Show. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, you can follow me at T_Bloom253. If you're watching this clip, you're watching it on YouTube, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. Hit the like, and remember, tell a friend to tell a friend. I mean, it's simple, guys. Get this page. We need 100 subscribers by the end of the month. I'm not sure what corporate's going to do if we don't hit that. Right now, we're at 49. Trying to get to the big 5-0. It's harder than shit. I need your help, guys. My T-Bloomanites, my T-Bloomers, my T-Bloomaholics, make it happen. I need your help to keep this podcast going. That's going to do it for my portion of it. Enjoy this next segment of me and Jones for Jones. Love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep. Perfect. I was hoping we didn't have another one of those. Well, shit, man. How have you been? How has Jones for Jones been these last couple weeks?
I've been doing well, man. I'm just working hard. I'm enjoying it, man. I mean, school's gone well so far, and I'm still trying to pump some videos out, and I'm enjoying it. It's been fun.
Absolutely, man. I'm seeing the work you're putting in. You got a pretty steady schedule going.
Right.
I mean, I could only imagine the type of schedule you have going on with going to school, getting those videos pumped out, all the editing, all like the work that goes behind that. Really impressive job, man. Seriously, keep going.
Yes, sir. I'm blessed. I'm loving it.
What are you still in fall quarter now, or?
Yes, sir. We go by semesters. So I have this week coming up, and then I got Thanksgiving, and then I got 2 weeks, and then I'm off for Christmas.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, Christmas break's pretty long. I like how they do that in college.
Yeah, I love that too. I'm ready for it. I need it.
Yeah, absolutely. How has the first year college football experience been for you? I know Texas A&M had, they had their highs and they had their lows.
Right.
I mean, tell us about it.
Oh, it's gone well for me, man. I've enjoyed it a lot. I mean, it sucks that we're 3-6, so that's not the greatest part of it.
Right.
But I've enjoyed going to the games. I've enjoyed the game day experience. So I couldn't be happier. I mean, I would love for us to be a little bit better, but we are young. We got a lot of injuries, so we'll be good. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so we'll be
For
fine.
sure. Hey, great optimism, great optimism. A
Yeah.
lot of fans do not have that nowadays. What about your thoughts on like college football overall this season? I mean, it's been kind of weird. I mean, Bama's sitting at number 10 right now. I personally can't remember the last time Bama wasn't at least ranked number 5 in the nation.
Right.
I mean, weird year.
It is a weird year, but I mean, I said it in August. I was talking about how Saban should have left when he was on top in 2020. I
Mm-hmm.
made that statement, and were saying it was crazy. People were saying I should have been saying that, but I mean, you leave when you're on top. You don't leave now when they're going to start slowly dwindling down, and he's going to get older, and they're going to start slowly dwindling away. Because not a lot of people talk about the fact Georgia's head coach Kirby Smart was at Alabama for all of those national championships, and he brought in all of those players for the years after that won the national title. The only team that won it without his recruits was the 2020 year. So that was the last time they've really been dominant as well. I mean, they claimed to be rebuilding last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess they're going to use that excuse again. But I mean, eventually, I mean, all those players now are going to Georgia, and you see the difference, and you see that level of play is completely different in Georgia in comparison to Alabama.
Oh, absolutely, man. Georgia is just a fucking wrecking crew. I mean,
They
Jesus
are.
Christ. Last week against Tennessee, I
Yeah,
didn't get to watch the whole thing, but when I did, it looked like Tennessee's offense just had they looked they looked confused out there. They looked
they
like because
did.
that was in Georgia, right?
Right.
Yeah, they looked like you know when you play NCAA football and you got all those routes wiggling and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
That's
how it
what it
looked.
seemed like. It
Yeah.
was an absolute great performance by Georgia and Tennessee, man. I mean, I don't know why they were ranked number 1 ahead of Georgia.
Yeah, that was a crucial mistake. I mean,
Yeah.
Georgia, I mean, Kirby, if you listen to him talk, he's a passionate dude. So I'm sure he was throwing that up all
Oh
week,
yeah.
all week. They don't
I
give
don't
him
know
no.
how they skipped over that. I'm not even a college football guy like that, but man, I thought Georgia was the clear number 2, if not number 1 over Bama.
I agree
But yeah, I mean they definitely proved it last weekend.
for sure.
And then that game, what was it? It was Bama versus LSU, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I
that
watched
was
the
the
end of
only
that
time I've
game.
ever cheered for LSU. Only
Huh?
time. That was the only time I ever cheered for LSU right
Oh
there.
yeah, okay. Well, yeah, freaking LSU. I couldn't believe it that they were going to go for it after they scored that touchdown in overtime. I was like, oh my god. I mean, I guess when you're going against Bama, you got to play to win. I mean, you got to
Right.
play to
Yeah.
win in that situation. You can't let them get any more momentum than what they already have.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, dude, weird year. Is there any disagreements you have right now in the top 25 or top 10 poll? Do you see any teams a little bit higher than they should be, or maybe a little bit lower than expected?
I don't really think TCU should be number 4 in my personal opinion. I mean, I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're really a top 4 team. I think they're about to play Texas this weekend, and
Oh yeah, baby.
I can't really pick Texas because that's like sacrilegious. But
Right.
um, I could very well see them losing to a 3-loss Texas team, and I don't think you should be thinking that as the number 4 team in the country. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they're necessarily up there. But we'll see. I mean, they can prove me wrong.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Texas, man, we are just like the most. It's like when we're supposed to win, we make it close, and when we're supposed to lose, we still make it close. It's like
Right.
it's the most frustrating thing being a Texas fan, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we got a lot of good games coming up this weekend for
For
college
sure.
football. So we're gonna do it just like we do it, old classic TBloom style. I'm gonna give you 5 up, 5 down, 5
Let's do it.
college games. You give me the Jones picks of the week. All right.
Let's
And
do
some
it.
of these games I know you touched on in your podcast. We want
Yeah.
to let TBloom Nation in on a little bit of it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna start it off right now with the Texas TCU game. I mean, I know you said you can't, sacrilegiously, football gods, you just cannot pick Texas.
Right.
But by how much are you picking TCU? Like, what are we looking at here? What kind of game?
I if TCU wins, it's going to be a close one in my opinion. Quinn Ewers hasn't looked the greatest the last few weeks, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think he is an elite quarterback. He's literally a freshman age, a true freshman age, even though he's a redshirt freshman. And it's just like I think it's eventually going to become time for him to completely have one of those games where we see him as one of those like high level players. So
Yep.
I can definitely see that happening, but I can't physically pick them. So I mean, I got to go TCU in a nail biter. But they also could TCU just could turn up and use the same thing that Georgia used because people are trying to claim Texas is going to upset them. So they could use the same thing as fuel and kind of
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, man, Texas is just so hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah,
So you're gonna roll TCU,
got to.
respectfully, the
Yeah,
Fighting Frogs.
got to.
Number two, I mean Alabama versus Ole Miss. This is gonna be a good one. I'm
Yeah, for sure.
assuming.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be a good game. I can't imagine Alabama losing back-to-back weeks. My whole
Mm-hmm.
life they've never done it, so I'll go Alabama based on that.
Really,
But
is that that's an actual thing? They have not lost back to back weeks for that long.
I haven't in the last 15 years since Saban's been there, since I've been a kid, I haven't seen it. I mean, it could have happened once, but it's very, very rare. Like
Right,
I
right,
haven't
right.
seen it.
Yeah,
So I don't really see it happening. The last time they lost this year, they came back against Mississippi State and took care of business. So I could see them doing that again this week and kind of shutting some people up. But I wouldn't be happier if Ole Miss was to win. I mean, I would love that. So
yeah, that'd be amazing, dude. That would
yeah,
be absolutely incredible. It'd be the end of an era almost in
yeah,
college
that would be
football.
it.
But you're gonna roll Alabama.
Yeah, I got to.
Okay. Now we're gonna bring it over here to the Northwest, Pacific
Okay.
Northwest. We got two dogs in the Pac-12
All right.
Pac-12 division coming up against each other. We got Washington versus Oregon.
Okay. I like Oregon a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
since week one, they've looked elite. So, I mean, I like how Bo Nix is playing. He's playing carefree. So I'm going Oregon.
gotcha. Yeah. I mean, this is gonna be a close game. Just knowing these two teams and when they play each other, Pac-12 teams, man, they keep it close no matter what the rankings are. I mean, I could see Oregon getting upset by fucking UCL, or is UCLA the one that's ranked?
Yeah, yeah, they're ranked. They already
I
played, I think.
Yeah. I think Oregon took out UCLA earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
At
right.
home.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna roll with Oregon though?
Yeah,
That's
I got to.
respect. That's respect. I want to be going Washington because I'm from Washington and
Yeah,
Oregon to me, I
hometown.
mean, I don't know. They're a little overplayed since the Chip Kelly days.
Right.
Um, Next one, got another, we actually do. There's a lot of fucking ranked teams playing each other. UCF versus Tulane.
In mine, I picked UCF to win just
Yeah.
because I don't know a whole lot about Tulane. I know that they lost to Southern Miss, which is a bad loss for a
Mm-hmm.
team ranked that high to be. But I'm going UCF because I like their quarterback a lot, John Rice Plumlee. I think he's still healthy. Honestly, I don't know a lot about both these teams, but I'm going UCF.
UCF. And speaking of quarterbacks, did I thought I heard something about that kid from Miami getting benched? Is that something
Yeah,
that
I think
really
so. Yeah, their year
interesting?
went down the tube after they lost to us, so
Oh, you guys sent him down the spiral?
I guess so.
That's funny. Well, okay, so there's four. All right, and then the fifth one, we'll give it over to your home cooking, Texas A&M versus Auburn. What do you see happening here?
I mean, gig 'em always, man. I'm going A&M for sure.
I love it. I love
I
it.
mean, yeah, but Auburn, I mean, they're probably going to play with a little bit of a fire because it's like they have a new coach now, at least as an interim coach, so they might want to play hard for him. But
Mm-hmm.
I got to go A&M.
Got to go A&M, baby, the Aggies.
Got to.
Um, yeah, I mean, which of those games, or is there any game that other than the ones that I just named that you have any interest in, or feel like might be a big game or a good game in that regard?
Probably Georgia, Mississippi State, because I know, I
Georgia,
mean,
Mississippi
I talk
State.
about Georgia a lot, but it's just, I mean, Georgia coming off that massive win and then Mississippi State's offense kind of being one of those elite offenses that can absolutely go crazy if they want to. So
Yeah,
I know that Kirby's a great coach and he won't let them have that kind of hangover or lull, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit closer than people think.
right. And since you're a Georgia fan, right, growing up,
For sure.
obviously Texas A&M's kind of conflicting.
Yeah.
But so I'm assuming right now you're rooting for Georgia to really bring that natty home, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
for
love nothing
sure.
more than that.
Now, have you seen a little bit of a drop off in the in terms of your enthusiasm for Georgia to win since you are a Texas A&M student?
I don't know if it's really dropped off. It's a little bit different because I mean, I grew up like every Saturday watching it with my mom and dad, who are like intense about it. My
Right.
dad was here a few weeks ago. My friends were like, "Dude, y'all are up 20," and he's like yelling at the TV. Like he he gets into it. My mom does too. She's on another level. She loves Georgia football. So being around that made it more like intense, I guess, on game days.
Right.
And so it's like watching it by myself or watching it with my friends that aren't Georgia friends or
Hmm.
Georgia fans. But obviously, I think it's just adding. I think A&M is just an addition to it. I still have a huge love for Georgia, but I also now I got a huge love for my school. So it's
Oh,
just
for sure. Yeah, that's just I was interested in that. Seeing 'cause every time I see Georgia play, I'm like, well, I wonder what Jones is thinking right now. I wonder if he was watching the game. But no, cool, dude. That's all I have for college football. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else that's interesting? Or who's like a Heisman? What's the Heisman race looking like right now?
it was Hendon Hooker until Georgia took him out. So I literally think that one game might have completely took him off the Heisman watch. So I'm not really sure other than that. I knew that he was high up there, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, how many more weeks do we have left?
I think 3.
3 more weeks. God damn, the season's just going by so fast.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into some NFL though. We're gonna do some T new T Boo because why the fuck not? I
Yeah, I
haven't
love
thought of another name yet, so we're calling it T new T Boo. We got
it.
5 games and 5 games that these aren't fastballs right down the plate. These are some
All right.
curveballs that I think you might have some
Cool.
disagreements in.
Let's do it.
Okay. First off, congratulations on being a Dallas Cowboy fan this year. I don't know, you guys survived Dak's injury phenomenally, like
Yeah.
miraculously. You guys still have only 2 losses with Dak
Well,
being out like 5 games.
yeah, I'm trying not to talk about it a lot because
Yeah,
once I start getting into it, then they're gonna start losing. So
yeah, for sure, for sure. We'll keep that. We'll keep the Dallas Cowboy talk to a minimum. We'll move it over here to Cleveland versus Miami this week. I'm gonna roll with the Cleveland Browns.
wow. Okay, that's an
Yeah,
interesting one.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go Miami, man. I think too is another week into being healthy. I'm sure, right? He's back fully now, right?
oh yeah, he's been back since like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I like him a lot. Tyreek Hill's on my fantasy team, so I've been loving that.
Oh my God, what a fucking year that guy's having. I
Yeah,
mean, to come off to first of all leave the best quarterback in the league and then to go to a team or with a quarterback that had a lot of questions behind him, still does have a little bit of questions behind him,
for sure.
and to have the best start to a season than any receiver ever.
Yeah,
I think there's no maybe there is a little bit of a conversation to be had for the best receiver between him and Cup, but
yeah.
I think Tyreek Hill has just solidified himself as top dog.
I agree. He's the new age wide receiver too. Just speed, pure
Mm-hmm.
speed, route running. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you need now.
Yeah. I mean, that guy is just electric.
Yeah, he is for sure.
So you're gonna roll with Miami on that one? Okay,
Yeah,
good,
I
good,
got to
good.
roll
See, I
Miami.
wanted I want a little bit of a disagreement here. Right there next to the Dolphins. I just think I don't know, man. I'm looking at these Miami Dolphins last 3 games, and they beat Chicago by 3, they beat Detroit by 4, and then they beat Pittsburgh by 6. I'm just thinking one of these games they gotta. I feel like they should have won by a little bit more than what they're winning by, but they still are a very elite team. So we'll see how that goes. The next one, oh, right now, Jeff Saturday's fucking first game,
Crazy game.
Indianapolis versus Las Vegas Raiders. I like Jeff Saturday. I'm a believer. I'm going Indy, baby.
I like Jeff Saturday a lot too. I don't know how he got the job personally.
Who
I wish they
knows?
would have gave me a call. I mean, at that point,
Yeah, I mean,
experience. So I don't know, but that's a hard one. I would love to see Jeff Saturday get a win and kind of shut some people up, but I'm gonna have to go with the Raiders, man.
the
I just don't.
Raiders.
I don't see it a week into it. I don't know. It'll be hard, but hey, that'd be sick.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's so many questions. Like, is he going to start Matt Ryan? Because the last coach said that even if Matt Ryan wasn't hurt, that
Go Sam
Ellinger
Ellinger.
still would have
Yeah,
been starting, which I don't know. I feel like you got to go all in with Matt Ryan. I mean, you brought the guy in for a reason.
I agree.
Your running game's not shit, so you need you need all of the Matt Ryan you can get, whether that's him throwing 60 times a game
Yeah,
or not. You got to roll with him. But I'm thinking
agreed.
Jeff Saturday will roll with Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, what a fucking turn of events that was. Jeff Saturday hired. I
Last,
like see what got me with him was his little speech he had, like his press conference speech,
yeah,
where he's like, you know what, I'm not the most qualified guy, but god damn it, I played center in the league for this amount of years. I played in playoff games, which is true. It's not like he's just some random dude off the street. He definitely has some
right.
NFL experience and experience with some elite players. So I don't know. I'm rooting for the guy.
I am too. Dan Campbell had a good speech too, though, and they're not the greatest. So I mean, I just try to,
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
yeah,
That's very true. But it helps. A good speech can always help.
right.
All right. We're going to move it over here. The German game.
Oh yeah,
Game in Germany, which I don't even know why we're doing. I don't think we're ever going to get fans in Germany for
I
football,
know.
but
I agree.
let's just try, I guess. Seattle Seahawks versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm rolling with Tampa on this one. I think Tom Brady's back. He smelled blood last week after his game-winning drive, and you know he's gonna make a push towards this playoff race.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers too, man. I could see them literally having a very mediocre year, but them somehow getting into the playoff. And then
Mm-hmm.
once you have Tom Brady in the playoffs,
Yeah.
it's a wrap, especially with the quarterback competition and that whole side. I mean, is Geno Smith really going to be the guy that's going to take him out? I
Yeah.
just don't. I'm rooting for him. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on behind closed doors with Tom Brady and all that whole situation. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But I'm rooting for him. I hope he does well.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, anytime Tom Brady if Tom Brady just needs a ticket to the dance.
Yeah,
And then once he gets in, the rest, I mean, as we've seen, can be history.
exactly.
The only thing that worries me about this team is the run game. They're pretty terrible in that regard. And
Yeah, I think Fournette's kind of definitely on the downhill.
yeah, he started off so good too, which is weird. But yeah, so you're gonna roll Tampa Bay as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, good man, good man. I can't stand these Seahawks. Man, I really thought this was the year that Steelers would have. I thought the Seahawks would be like fucking 2-6 by now, and
We
then
all thought that.
yeah, not the 6-3 Seattle Seahawks going into the 10th week, and then I'm sitting here at a 2-6 Pittsburgh Steeler team. Man, it's been a long season, but we're gonna get into that next game right now. New Orleans Saints versus Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers coming off their bye week, well
Yeah.
rested. Kenny's feeling good. Tomlin's 11-4 after the bye, so I'm gonna roll with the Pittsburgh Steelers here.
I love that little statistic you just brought up right there. That was beautiful. After you said that, I got to go with the Steelers. I
What, they
agree.
11-4 after the bye?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
nice.
hey,
I
yeah,
like that.
man. You're going with Pittsburgh?
I'll go with Pittsburgh. I'm doing that for you, man.
My man, I
I don't
appreciate
usually
that.
cheer for
We
them, but
need
I got
all hands on deck this week because this is
yes,
the
sir.
fucking start to the playoff push, baby.
Oh
Rooting,
yeah,
rooting hard for it.
comeback season.
But no, last time we were talking, Kenny Pickett hadn't even
Yeah,
been in the game yet, and now he's like started a few games, and obviously I'm a little bit more excited. You have big dreams, right? When you draft a guy week
yeah,
or round one, you got big dreams. He's not Superman by any means, but I think he's doing all right for his first year. I mean, with what he has at the offensive line and the offensive coordinator, I think he's doing just fine.
yeah. You're supposed to see flashes in year one, and I think we've seen flashes. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we should expect him to be a Hall of Famer year one.
No, no. Even though I did, but that's how it goes. All right. Next one, last one. Where's it at? All right. Los Angeles Chargers versus San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to roll with the LA Chargers on this one. Just because the Chargers, they're going to be without Keenan Allen again probably. Mike Williams is going to be out. But this is the perfect game that they should lose. But the Chargers love to win games they should lose and lose games they should win. In San
Yeah.
Francisco, here's another stat, and you might like this. Kyle Shanahan is 1-4 after the bye week.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna roll with the Los Angeles Chargers on this one.
All right. I have McCaffrey on my fantasy team.
Oh,
So I had
money.
a great week a few weeks ago. So I mean, it's going to be hard. I got to go to San Francisco. I think they're going to get him more involved.
Mm-hmm.
I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's a glorified game manager, but he doesn't really have to be anything else. So
Right. No, I think San Francisco could very easily, with exception to the Philadelphia Eagles, I think that they are arguably the second best team in the league when they're playing at the best of their capabilities.
Yeah,
But when are they playing the best of their capabilities? I think
right.
Minnesota, they're good, right? But I don't think they're necessarily the most elite 6-1 team, if that makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we got all those. We got some T Boo going. Are there any things in the NFL that you kind of had your eye on? Anything you wanted to talk about?
The Saints surprised me with how terrible they are. I know that they're dealing with
Mm,
Jameis Winston being out and Kamara's playing like he doesn't even want to be there.
yeah.
So I know they're dealing with all that. And Andy Dalton's definitely not a starter by any means. I was expecting New Orleans to be a lot better. I was expecting the Chargers to be a lot better, but they've been dealing with injuries as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I can't talk about the Cowboys because the more I talk about them, the worse they play. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to keep not mentioning them, and hopefully they keep playing well.
We won't talk about the Cowboys. We'll talk about a little bit about their opponent coming up this week. What the fuck's going on in Green Bay, dude? Is Aaron Rodgers done or
You should leave when you're on top. I've made this statement countless times now. They just don't listen. He's trying to run till the wheels fall off, and the wheels
uh,
are about to fall off.
I
So,
mean, just like two back to back MVP seasons,
mhm.
and then he comes in and he goes 3-6. How much of it do you feel like it is Aaron Rodgers, and how much do you feel like it's the lack of weapons or the lack of trust he has in his receivers?
It's definitely a mix of both. Those
Mm-hmm.
receivers are young, and then the ones that aren't young just aren't talented. Let's just
Right.
be honest. So, I mean, it's a mix of both, but Aaron Rodgers has made it work with just about any receivers for a long time. So I just think it's a mix of both. It's not all on Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to look himself in the mirror, but I think he should have seen the writing on the wall. And if you're not gonna retire, he should have tried and gone to a team that is a little bit better and did what Tom Brady did, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, God, the Packers. It's almost like they do not want him to be playing for them anymore. Like
Yeah,
Devontae leaves, they take 2 draft picks in for a defense, and by the way, their defense isn't even that much better with those 2 draft picks, which is the
right.
sad part. And then you got a Aaron Rodgers. Do you listen to? I know Aaron Rodgers goes on to Pat McAfee every Tuesday.
Yeah, he goes a lot. Yeah,
Um, I just listened to his like interview after the loss after the Lions. He still seems like he's in it, right? He still seems
right,
like he's Aaron Rodgers. He's a competitive guy. He's not just going to give up on the season.
right.
But you could tell there's just some. You could tell there's probably a little bit of regret of him not maybe trying to go somewhere else after last year, or yeah, maybe rekindling things in Green Bay wasn't such a good move for him in the
Yeah, and
long
maybe
run.
taking all that money wasn't the greatest of ideas either because
Yeah, yeah. If you
going
want to
out.
win, I mean, I'm sure his life outside of football is just amazing. He can do
Oh
whatever he
yeah,
wants, whenever he wants to,
yeah,
but on the field, man, it's struggle. And especially, I don't know if you watched the game last week against the Lions, man, but he had 2 trips to the goal line that resulted in interceptions. One slant over the middle, bounced off the dude's head, pops up,
yeah,
Detroit gets it. And then another one, they had a little tackle eligible to David Bakatari, and then Rogers just underthrows it by like 5 yards, like a terrible throw. And then Aiden Hutchinson comes in and picks it off. So I don't know, man. I think there's a little bit of regression there with Aaron Rodgers, and for good reason. The guy's what, 37, 38?
yeah,
It's going to
exactly.
come. He's not
Yeah,
on the Brady diet by any means, I'm sure.
no, no.
Um, but yeah. Well, man, I mean that's all I pretty much have for this week.
Ready.
I appreciate you coming on. We love having you on here. It's been a while. Good to see you're doing good, enjoying that first year of college. Enjoy it, man. Those are the best
Yes,
years
sir.
of your life.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely keep that in the back of your mind anytime you find yourself having a good time. Um, yeah, thanks for coming on, Jones and for Jones, man.
Yes,
If you
sir.
guys wanted to catch his podcast, you can find him on YouTube at Jones and for Jones, and I'll put the little thing right there at the bottom. And yeah, thanks for having us. Or
Yes, sir.
thanks for coming in.
I appreciate you anytime. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, boss. You have a good day.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right.